evening. Before that, though, we'll talk about three local charities in Leicester who've banded together to raise funds for someone who may be struggling during the current COVID-19 crisis. Well, they've already raised £100,000, not 200 as I said earlier on, £100,000, but are hoping to get a lot more. Let's hope it does go well past 200,000. Well, Ismail Patel is from the British Muslim COVID-19 Fund and joins me now on BBC Radio Leicester. Ismail Bhai, very good evening. Assalamu alaikum, first of all, and welcome to the programme.
Thank you for having me, and good evening, Kamlesh.
Now, tell us a little bit more about this new fund and how it's all come about.
Well, it's taken us something like 3 weeks, and these three charities, have been very, very generous. But I think they've been generous because of reflecting of the great hard work that is being carried out by really, so we use the word soldiers, trying to fight the COVID, from the NHS staff, from voluntary groups, from organizations who are helping people in isolation, and all sorts of different aspects that are being catered for, even funeral arrangers who are looking after the dead, deceased from COVID-19. And all these groups are spending their own time and effort. And I think these charities realize that, the least we can do is try and help this great work that is taking place, just not in our city, but throughout the country by different organizations, people of all faiths and no faiths. And this is something very encompassing, trying to help everybody.
And I think that's been the one kind of shining light in all this. It's a tough time for everyone, isn't it? And there are not many silver linings. But one of the things, which has been so remarkable is, the spirit with which people have come together, irrespective of race, colour, creed, religion, and really just supported each other. It's been really tremendous, hasn't it?
It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, this disease knows no boundaries, knows no colour, knows no faith. It affects all of us. And the way we have reacted as well, I think it's exemplary. And I hope we can learn something from this for a greater future. But this fund really is to help. I mean, the real champions of this cause, or rather this infliction that we're being affected with, is who we're trying to help. And if we can do a little bit by providing, as you mentioned, we've already raised £100,000, and we want charities to apply who are working in the field of COVID. We expect within a 2 to 3 weeks turnaround, so that the money gets immediately to the organizations and the charities who are working on the ground, so they can carry on and do the great work that they're doing.
I mean, it was a wonderful start to your fundraising because you did receive that a very generous amount of money. Tell us where the fund, the 100,000 to kick everything off, came from.
Well, the three charities have their own database and volunteers who they approached, who have managed to raise this before we officially launched today, so that we had that before we kick off. Also, the month of Ramadan is coming, as you know, and Muslims are much more generous in that month, where they're giving out much more donation and trying to think of the other people. So we thought that this would be ideal, and we're hoping, as you mentioned earlier, to increase on 100,000 so that we can help more people.
Of course, Ramadan is a very special time, not only because it's a very spiritual month, but it's also a time for giving as well, isn't it? So I guess it kind of works both ways. And you will be looking for, people, if they're looking during this holy month, because this is when I know a lot of my Muslim friends always turn their attentions to the kind of charities that they would like to support. Well, they say charity starts at home. And I guess there's not many better causes than, the COVID-19 fund, is it?
Absolutely. I mean, we have been very good at helping throughout third world countries, famine countries, and people where they've had disasters year in and year out. Unfortunately, we have a problem this time at our doorstep, and therefore we have to start, as you mentioned, charity at home. So British Muslim COVID-19 Fund is something we really recommend organizations to visit the website and apply, so that we can help the charities who are working locally.
Indeed. Where will, when you say locally, I mean, where will hopefully the very generous amount of money that you raise, where will it be spent, and how will you sort of allocate who gets the help?
Sure. The minimum is they can apply for anything from £250 to a maximum of £5,000 to any one organisation. It is only for UK-based organisations, nothing outside of the UK. And the only criterion is they must be working with something to do related with COVID-19. So as I mentioned, there could be, for the health and well-being of the staff in the NHS. It could be for volunteer groups who are giving food to isolated families. It could be for organizations that are taking care of the deceased. Anything else to do with COVID-19 and how they're helping those people is who we want to help. So we want to help organizations that are helping the frontline issues.
And how can they approach you? How can they get in touch with you?
The best way is visit the website. It's British Muslim COVID-19 Fund. It's very simple. If you visit that website, application forms are there and apply, and hopefully we should be able to respond as soon as possible.
Terrific. It sounds absolutely wonderful. We wish you all the best in your fundraising, Ismail Bhai, because I think, the money will really make a difference to people's lives. And of course, I take this opportunity to wish you and your family a very safe and a very peaceful and rewarding period of Ramadan as well.
Thanks, Kamlesh, and thank to all the listeners as well. We wish them all well, and hopefully they're all safe.
Indeed, and everyone who's working so hard at the front line as well, we wish them a very happy Ramadan as well. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, Ismail Bhai. That's Ismail Patel from the British Muslim COVID-19 Fund, and that's the organisation to get in touch with if you feel that you are involved with a cause or know of how this money could help communities or individuals or people or organisations during this very difficult time that we're all going through at the moment.